Yes, people, what's going on, man? What's going on? We're back with another live stream. We're joined today by man like Couch. You got big witness over there. A man like AJ. You know what I'm saying? We're saying, boys, you look good?
Big up, Dan.
Yo, everything good, everything good, everything cook up on curry, you know?
Everything cook up.
Some breaking news or something?
Everything cook up on curry.
Unless you got, you seem like you got all the scoops, so I'm waiting for you.
All right, boys, we've got a lot to speak about, man. Because the last time I went live was actually with AJ, and Saeed and that, and we did the Man United Chelsea project. I was having some problems. People, I've got my Ethernet cable today. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got my Ethernet cable today, so hopefully there's not going to be no connection issues and whatnot. But yeah, man, we've got a lot to speak about because there's been a few conflicting reports I'm seeing about Gallagher. Obviously, Jhon Duran is a big topic at the minute within the Chelsea fan base. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people reacting, and they don't want this guy. You know, so we'll chop it up about him. Broja, you know, he's most likely going to leave, obviously. And there's a few things that came out about Fofana as well, man. Datro Fofana, if you guys remember him, he potentially might leave. You know, the club are actually open to listening to some offers for him. So we'll speak briefly about him. And just a few other things like Andre Santos. The club want to keep him. They're not looking to loan him out, man. So yeah, it'll be a good show, people. But listen, we've got 21 people in the house already. Big up Meme. It says here, big up Don. Let's go through the rest of the chat, man. We've got man like Will in here. Come on, shout out the man Surfer. Big up, bro.
Big up, Will.
HD as well. What's good, my guys? Big up, my brother. Gaming for life. Big yourself up every single time, my bro. You got Yosef in here as well. Big up. You get me? Is there a problem with the audio? Let us know, people, if there's a problem with the audio. Can you not hear me fine? Yeah,
it might be. I'm not finding anything on the stream.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
My mic seems to be plugged in, so I don't know what's going on. But now, let us know if you can't hear us properly, my bro. You got Ramen in here as well. Good afternoon, Don. Hope you're doing well. Listen, good afternoon, my bro. Couldn't be better, man. And you got Robert as well. Big yourself up, my G. I was glitching at the start, but it's all good. Okay, man. So listen, let's get straight into it, people, man, because we know what's going on at the minute. We need a striker. Obviously, the news came out the other day that Sesko is going to be staying now at Leipzig. So unfortunately, he's not going to be an option. But surprise, surprise, we're back for man like Duran. You get me? Someone that we came for in January. Yeah, and first of all, people, listen, when we was linked to him in January, I had no idea who this guy was. When I saw Duran playing for Villa, I said, who? I didn't even know who this brother was, you know? But at the time, obviously, we lost out on Broja. Jackson was at AFCON, and it was very clear that we needed someone that can at least put the ball in the back of the net. So I was thinking, cool, let's see if we can actually make it happen. But then he got injured, and then, you know, that completely fell through. But now it looks like it's going to happen, most likely. It looks like we're, you know, sort of in the final stages at the minute in terms of making an offer. And you can see here as well, Duran wants the Chelsea move. You know, he's given priority over the Italian clubs. Couch, what do you think about the signing of Duran? Are you for it at the minute? Because it's something that's quite controversial at the minute. I'm seeing a lot of people reacting the way they did when we signed Palmer.
A controversy. What's the controversy? The price?
Just in terms of the player, bro. You know, the fact that he's young, he's another project, he's unproven, he's not starting for Aston Villa.
I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm not really too concerned about the project thing because, as you know, I was very much on board with having Sesko come to the club right now, right? I'm just looking for acquiring talent. I don't know if we're at the stage right now in our evolution as a football club where we're thinking about challenging at the highest level. Like, we're still trying to assemble what it is that we have. We have a new manager coming in. We have a lot of, you know, young talent. So, you know, if you're bringing in another name that can kind of like fit with the profile of players that we have at the club right now, fit with the football that we're trying to employ, then, you know, I'm all for it. It comes down to, you know, obviously the price, number one. I don't want to be paying overs for anybody right now because I don't want to be out there in the, you know, in the ether that Chelsea would just pay overs and overs and overs for people. I don't want that. But at the same time, if the scouts have identified this Jhon Duran guy as a player who they think could come in and give something different in the striker room, then yeah, I'm gonna have to give them a bly on that. I'm gonna have to trust their judgment on that because let's not ignore the fact that this is not the first time they've been in on this guy. You know, they went in January, and had it not been for an injury, he probably would have already been a Chelsea player. You know, and to be honest, I say that they're batting close to, you know, 80% in terms of like the players that they've acquired at the club that show that they have the right kind of quality to play for Chelsea Football Club. There's a lot of players that they've brought in the last couple of years, and I'm like, yeah. A couple I'm kind of like, but like for the most part, I say that they're winning in terms of like finding, you know, the diamonds in the roughs, the names that people aren't necessarily aren't household names, the names that you want to see come to Chelsea and become, you know, make their name at Chelsea. You know, like no different than like Cole Palmer. You know, Cole Palmer coming to the club last summer, and people not really knowing, myself including, what he's going to be about, and then he turns out to be like an absolute gem. So, you know, I'm willing to give the scouts the space and time and you know, to do what they do. And, you know, when it comes down to it, it's just we're only gonna be able to judge him when we see him play for us. You know, that's really what it's gonna be.
Facts. And listen, I'm seeing a lot of people on the timeline not happy about it, because end of the day, he's not a big name. And if you look at it on paper, you know, you're looking at it, it's come from the MLS. He's playing behind Watkins at the minute. We haven't really seen much of Duran to be quite confident in him. But just from some of the research that you've done, Couch, because I know me and you've been going back and forth today and whatnot in the group chat, and you said you've been watching a few clips. What do you kind of look at in him that you think would be good for the team? And are you fully sold? Do you think he would fit the profile Maresca would like?
I haven't really seen much of his footwork. I think that he has to show that he can link up play effectively. But what I can say is that he's a clean striker of the ball. That much is for certain for me. Anytime he strikes through the ball, he's striking right through it, which is exactly what you want your striker to do. I'd also say that his aerial presence and physicality is something that we definitely need. I think he wins a lot of aerial duels from what I've seen. And if that's something that he can bring to, you know, our setup right now and be, you know, an imposing presence, which is part of the reason why I wanted Sescu as well, just because I feel like he can be another, you know, a presence with aerial duels and winning headers and whatnot, defensively and offensively. So if Duran can be that type of player, like what he's been doing at Villa in a limited role, let's say, but if I'm not mistaken, he was winning like maybe 3 or 4 headers a game, you know, aerial duels a game. You know, in his limited role.
Behind that, then, yeah.
I think so. I remember seeing somewhere that he's winning like 3.7 or something like that a game, which is.
I mean, I was watching him earlier. You know, I was watching him on Y Scout, and honestly, bro, the amount of times I've seen him winning headers, good.
Yeah. So with that said, like you would agree that he's an aerial presence, and it's something that we certainly need at the club right now.
Yeah. In terms of aerial presence, like bringing it down and heading it down, and that he looks pretty good at that because he's quite tall. He's physical. One thing I'll say about him is he's strong. Yeah, that's one thing about Duran. And just from the clips that I was watching, like I said, I watched a few games back. He's very similar to Antonio. He reminds me of him. Like he's really unorthodox on the ball. I wouldn't say he's as good as Sesco on the ball. Like Sesco's a little bit cleaner with it, whereas Duran's a little bit more. He gets the ball and it kind of looks loose, but then he still manages to get to it. Yeah, like like Antonio, bro. Literally, when you watch him, I'm seeing Antonio in him. You know what I'm saying? But I was saying earlier, in terms of the ball striking, yes, it's better than Jackson's. And I think in a team like this, with the likes of Cole Palmer, if we go and bring in Olise, for example, you've got Nkuku, all these guys are going to be facilitating him and creating some good chances for him. You know, like I said, there's a compilation, people, 4.5 minutes of Cole Palmer just plating people last season. Plating people, you know, and someone like Duran, I don't see him missing as many chances as Jackson, because in front of goal, at least he hits the ball with a little bit of conviction. Do you know what I'm saying? So how I'm kind of visualizing him in this team at the minute, you know, his link-up play doesn't look too rigid. It looks okay, I would say. It doesn't look great. It just looks okay. It looks decent. In terms of him running at players, again, he looks like Antonio. He's very unorthodox with how he does it, right? But what's key for me is the fact that we're still going to be creating chances. We just need someone that's going to be on the end of them and able to take those chances, because his movement in and around the box, it looks pretty good. But AJ, what do you think? What do you think of the signing of Duran, man? Are you for it?
Nah, I mean, again, I've said my piece on the type of striker I'm looking for. You know, this is actually closer to the type of striker than Julian Alvarez. You know, in terms of profile. You know, the physical side that he brings is something that we really miss. We've missed that presence up top that like can occupy 2 defenders at once. You know, it creates more space for our midfielders, you know. Then on top of that, the aerial presence. You know, you guys are speaking about the aerial ability he has now. I'm not even too familiar about it. So you saying that, I'm happy to hear that, because, you know, we need that. That's what we're looking for. Again, Reece James on the wing, if we have him putting some crosses in, we want somebody who could do something with it. So, he's checking boxes that we need to be checked. We need that type of striker who's physical, aerial, can occupy defenders, can strike the ball. The ball striking, like Couch said, is insane. Like the ball striking is crazy. So we need that. So it's just really it's checking a lot of good boxes. Obviously, we still want that top. He's not that finished article that the fans want, and sometimes we can't get what we want. But and who else is out there? We've looked at basically everybody who's kind of available. It's like, what else? Sesko's re-signed with the club. What else are we gonna do? Really? So.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And that's what I've been looking at. And the other day when we was doing the stream on Chelsea Fan TV, I said, bro, this summer, in terms of strikers, it's better than last season, because last season it was dry in the summer. Yeah, it was so bad. This year, teams, if you want a striker, you're gonna have to be shrewd about it, right? Because Osimhen is way too expensive. Chelsea don't want him. He's too much money, too much wages, and in terms of his profile, he's not gonna suit what Maresca wants to do. Alvarez, for me, I would take him all day, every day. But again, he's not going to be cheap. If you want to get him, you're going to have to spend at least 80, 90 million. And from the sounds of things, it sounds like he would rather go play in Spain. You know what I'm saying? So that one is looking quite unrealistic, because again, we've got a lot of holes to plug at the minute. You know what I'm saying? We need to make sure that we're quite shrewd and we're quite smart with our signings. So for me, this summer, Couch, we've spoken about it a few times. This summer, I'm all about profile. Bring me the right profile. That's the main thing that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? But let's go through the chat real quick, Andrew, because I wanted to pose this question to you. A6 makes a fair enough point here, because like I've said, for me, I'm skeptical about the fact that it's another project, because there's so many projects in his team. You've got Jackson, you've got Mudryk, you've got Madueke, you've got all these guys where they need a lot of work. And obviously we're bringing in a new coach who we believe that can work with the players that we've got. But he responded to someone's comment here. He says, we ain't got time for that shit, bro. This is our fourth window. The directors and the owners said this was our 4-window project, which is fair enough. They want to build a 100-point team. We need ready-made players. What's your take on that, Andrew? Do you agree with what he's got with A6 got to say there?
Yeah, I just think what would have helped this story is if some Chelsea media said Joe Shields was behind this, then everyone would have accepted it. Do you know what I mean? That stuff like that. And I just like the way that some Chelsea fans if we get at least say we can do something, and then when Duran's story dropped, oh no, we can't do anything. It's like, what would make the difference? Yes, it is their 4th window. Is it it shouldn't be surprising, like you said at the start, we were linked to him in January, so it shouldn't be a surprise we're linked to him again. I'm thinking in the back of my head, there seems to be also a chance of helping Villa out, because we're trying to help City out with their legal stuff. You know what I mean? That's just my conspiracy theory. I don't believe it. It's just, but you know what I mean? It's a little too convenient. But yeah, Director said, 4-window project, okay. But everyone keeps going, oh yeah, well, we're going to shift Nkunku onto the left, and Nkunku can play up top as well. We don't know if Duran's going to be 2nd or 3rd choice. Do you know what I mean? It's all about, and we craved last season, of having options, multiple options that we didn't have on the bench due to injuries. You know what I mean? We looked at one game where we didn't even know who these players were. They looked like pro club names on FIFA. Do you know what I mean? That bench. It was like looking back at it, going, "Who the hell is that?" Do you know what I mean? Is that a real person?
Yeah.
And listen, and also it's like, how do you think he's going to fit in? I have no idea, because I don't know if Maresca is going to do the same as he did at Leicester. He did with Chelsea. It's a totally different environment. So someone going to me, he's going to play him up there. I'm thinking, how the hell do you know how he's going to play with him in the Premier League? It's a totally different beast we're looking at. But going back to the original the quote, listen, actions speak louder than words. Okay, they want to build. I don't really care about 100 points. I really don't care. It's not. I don't care. I don't. If you get me 85 points to win the title, I don't. We won the title with 86 points once. I really couldn't care less. Points only matter at the end of the season of where you finish. All right, that's what it matters. And we've now got a squad. Even with the injuries, there's a core of this squad that's settled together for a year. Okay, and settled together for a year. We're just adding little touches here and there. And like I said, Couch said it. I think you can criticize the under-25 rule, but if we look at the percentages of the transfers that have actually come in to the first team, it's or first team squad. It's more than likely it's on the positive side than more on the negative side. Because we've also got like Lavia we've not really seen, right? Stuff like that. Jackson's a great surprise and improved. Gusto very good. No one rated Palmer that highly when we first bought him. We all didn't think he would do this. Caicedo.
I didn't think he'll do the mad thing with the GNA, but I did say he was gonna do. He's gonna do well.
Yeah.
I question the signing. I agree.
Listen. I said it a few weeks ago. I said you can't have too many projects in the team. So if you want to call Duran a project, fine. But then I'm looking at elsewhere. I'm looking like, okay, I need a goalkeeper, but I need a reliable goalkeeper, not a project goalkeeper. So if you want to do the project thing up front, no problem. But that means if you're going to buy a goalkeeper, then you need to buy a proper one. But going back to Duran, listen, of course, the big highlights for him are the goals he banged in against Liverpool. Very good
against
very
City
good
as well.
shot.
Scored against City at the
Oh yeah, scored a banger against City as well. Listen,
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all question marks. I'm not gonna be like some people online that just like think we're finished and stuff like that just with one Duran signing. But you know,
and what I like as well, Andrew, I've just had a look at his injury record as well, because that's something that I check for all these man. Serious PTSD, bro, and it looks like. It looks like he's he stays quite fit. I know he hasn't been the first choice, but this is what I want to be seeing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be seeing someone with a crazy injury.
Also, look at the last 24 hours. Yesterday night, it was 40 million. It's already dropped down 15 million to 25.
What do you believe now, right? Who knows?
Maybe there's add-ons, but it's like, would he ever hit those add-ons and stuff like that? It just, I always like with these ones. I let it rest for like 24 hours. I know people like to react a lot. But let's see where it goes in 24 hours. If he comes in, he comes in. He's another South American player, right? That seems to be it seems to be our fetish at the club at the moment. It's South American. So he'll be added. So he's going to have a lot of people there to help him settle. Do you know what I mean? Very quickly. He's played a couple of seasons in the Premier League. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, no, facts, exactly. That's the main thing, man. You got to just with these sort of things, like I said, they have scouted some good players, man. Some of us didn't know the likes of Gusto, the likes of even Cole Palmer. They laughed at it when we bought him. Oh, he hasn't even scored one Premier League goal. He's a reject, he's a Man City reject. And I kept saying at the time, bro, the context of it at the time, he had so many players ahead of him, the likes of Mahrez, the likes of Bernardo Silva, the likes of Foden. And that doesn't mean that Palmer's a bad player, because every time you'd watch him in the B team, he would do pretty well. Do you know what I mean? And when I watch Duran, I know he's young, but he doesn't give me that. I don't look at him and think, oh, he's playing like a young man. He man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he plays
he
like a man.
He definitely knows how to use his body. That's for sure. He's learning how to use his body, and that's not something you pick up quickly. Like the first thing you do when you're a young player, you're learning how to use your pace. You're trying to get separation and whatnot. It might even be better with your feet. But when you learn how to use your body, especially because your body's always changing at that age, it's still growing. You're still growing into your body. When you learn that at a young age, it's special. I think
I think he's the Broja replacement in the squad.
Well, I was going to say that too, because if he becomes a Broja replacement, is anyone really complaining?
No.
I don't rate Broja like that. I'm like, okay.
Especially the money we're trying to get for Broja as well. Literally.
Well, I don't think we're going to get that money for him, but even still, I'm just talking about profile for profile.
I don't think it's just not it. Yeah, he's not it.
I big up Saeed. I said, is Don still gassing up Duran? Hey, bro, listen. Hey, he backs himself. You know what I'm saying? Big up Saeed, but he backs himself. Like he says here, this is from Up the Villa podcast. I think he did a playback with Pius earlier, and he literally said here, Duran doesn't have any fear. He totally backs himself. He comes deep and he's very aggressive. He loves a tackle too. Yeah, bro. And when I was watching the games back, that's exactly what I was seeing from this guy. Do you know what I'm saying? I was seeing someone that really wants to get stuck in. There was times where he's given the ball and he's trying to link up. He's not getting it back. He's punching the air like he's angry. You know what I'm saying? So that's a guy that
I saw that was one of the
character.
I've seen several. That's one of his. Maybe he needs to work on, his discipline. I've seen that in some Villa things. That while he is aggressive, he's still and he's young.
With that.
He's young. He's young, so he can work that. But not to just go overboard or something like that. Like Jackson, actually, to his compliment, Jackson, the first half of the season, he just picked up so many yellow cards. It was just unnecessary. And the second half, he sort of stopped that. So that was good. You know, we just got to remember the age of the guy as well. And
he's not drawing cards.
Don't have to go at Said, guys. Said's in a very hurtful, vulnerable place right now after last night's news. So don't give him a hard time in the chat. You know?
Great news, man. Honestly, I think Ten Hag's
he's hurting. He's hurting.
Well, the thing I'll say about him though, like, even though he's got a bang on him, before you come in, Couch, even though he's got a bang on him, he takes too many shots from so far where I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, bro. To score from there, you literally have to get it perfect. That's what I'm looking at and thinking, bro. Decision making, you need to fix up. You know,
Maresca's not letting that happen.
Say that again.
Maresca's not letting that happen.
Exactly. That's key. Maresca needs to make sure that he disciplines this guy quite well because the places I'm seeing him shooting, like I said, I know he hits the ball clean, but I'm looking at him thinking, bro, there you can just pop it off, make that late run into the box, crash into the box, get it back, and then you're going to score a goal. But I'm seeing him trying to bang it from like 25 yards, 30 yards constantly. And it's like, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? But sorry, Couch, you're about to say
something. He shoots a lot, too. He shoots a lot.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of shots on. You know, like whether or not they're on target and whatnot is another thing. But he shoots a lot, which is something I don't necessarily mind because I want more. For the most part, you want, you know, your moves to be fashioned for the striker to get on at the end anyway. So, you know, I want my final move to fall to the striker more often than not if he is, you know, clinical and good. So, if he becomes that player for us, I'm not really worried about that, how much he shoots and whatnot. But I would say that he's not really, as much as he does foul a lot for, you know, a forward. He doesn't get a lot of yellows or anything like that. He's more just like he fouls a lot. Like he seems like he's like pulling the China shop kind of guy that just goes after it way too aggressively at times, right? But again, that can be controlled, and like also like the ability to press. You know, the press effectively is also something that's desirable if he's in control of his actions and his pressing sequences. But then, you know, it might lead to more of those fouls coming to him. But ultimately, I love guys that are at least putting in the shift or at least putting themselves above the pitch. You know what I mean? Regardless of where they are. You know, so that's something to look at too. Again, much of what we're saying right now is not really talking about his actual gameplay because this is not enough to go on. I haven't seen enough, right? Yeah, I can only go on the small pieces that I've seen, and you know, he just looks like when I saw him. You're saying that he reminds you of Antonio. Like I saw clips of him that made me think that he looked like just Datro Fofana again, just like really energetic, pacey, trying to get all over the pitch, physical and whatnot. But like
banging into better on the ball. That's the difference, though. The thing, what I would say about that is I think Fofana's better than him on the ball, man. That's one thing that when I'm looking at Duran, again, that's why I called him unorthodox. He looks pretty, he just looks different, you know what I'm saying? But whatever works for him, because even Madueke is quite unorthodox as well, and it works, you know? So if it's working for Duran, so be it. But I can't lie, when I'm looking at his touch, it looks a bit loose. It does look a bit loose. So, you know, hopefully that now that he's playing in a technical team, he'll have to up his levels, innit? But another striker that was mentioned was Solanke. Obviously, we know Solanke came through Chelsea Academy. Him and Tammy used to clear the academy. I'm talking scoring over 40 goals each, you know. And this is someone who I think is really underrated, man. I remember when he came back to the Prem, me and my boy were talking because he's a West Ham fan, yeah. And he's like, oh, Solanke's dead and that. I said, bro, did you see how many goals this guy just scored in the Championship, bro? To be disrespecting him like that. And it's only this season that just went. He said, you know what? I wasn't familiar with his game. Yeah, 19 goals in the league. I remember how badly Bournemouth started off as well. 19 goals in the league, but this is someone that Matt Law has mentioned. And for me, I think he'll be a really good, I think he fits the profile. You know, he can link up play. He knows how to drop in deep. He's good on the ball as well. And in front of goal, I trust him a lot more than Jackson. You know, he can hit the ball clean as well. And he's doing that from young. It was very clear for me. I've been watching Solanke since he was probably 14, 15. And he was always quite physical for his age. Even at the time, he was quite tall. And I always said, this guy's going to make it because he has that natural instinct that you can't coach as a striker. Do you know what I mean? He gets himself in the right areas. He's the way he runs in behind as well. He's good at it, bro. Very good at it, man. But Andrew, what do you think of Solanke? Is that someone that you would be open to?
I mean, he's done very well this season. With an actual having a manager there or a coach there that's going to help with his game. He's led the line well for Bournemouth, who should have been, with all right, should be in relegation trouble, really, with the squad they have. But he's played very well. I don't. It's just like I said. I'm just with Maresca. I just don't know who he wants to play with. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how different is Solanke to Duran? How different is he to, stuff like that? As a striker, does he drop deep? Is he going to want him to drop deep? Is he want him to be a lead in line? Do you know what I mean? It's just all question marks. I mean, he's got less. The problem I had with like Sesko is that the biggest problem was that, and it's even more so with Duran. It's just question marks. That's all. Do you know what I mean? Not really, seen a lot of Sesko and stuff like that. Solanke is going to cost around the same. I think it's got like a £65 million buyout or something that I read. Honestly, I honestly don't know. It's the problem is he gonna like come back to the bridge and go, I've got some unfinished business, or he never got the chance, and then is he going to fall under the pressure of that or something like that if he's a leading striker? It's an option. I just it's unfortunately it's like I've seen today, like now I saw like Duran might not be the only striker. Here is a list of them. And it was like I was looking at all of them going, they're all different. Do you know what I mean? It's not like one step. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we get Solanke. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, but Alvarez is different from Solanke. So what? I mean, is Solanke, does he have better aerial presence than Duran? Do you know what I mean? In terms of that, what's his headed goal stats like? Are we going to be doing that as a team? I don't know. That's where it's like I'm fascinated by. I've got a slight trepidation, but I'm fascinated just by watching. I'm not going to get overhyped by preseason like last year with Poch, because that was a fatal mistake. I saw, but just looking to see how Maresca wants to play, because, like I said, I'm not really going to look at Leicester's games to see what he can do with better players. So it's just all question marks at the moment. I don't know if we'll go for Solanke because of the price, but he's definitely an option on there that they should consider if they want to. So,
big up Robert with the super chat as well, man. Love for the support, my bro. It says, say Osimhen came and bangs 25 goals, which is great. Jackson can get 15 to 18 and Duran 10, and it costs less and be on lesser wages than Osimhen combined. What do you think of that, Couch? I see your face light up there.
No, I thought. I guess I didn't read it right. I thought he meant like we'd have all three of those players at the same time. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's probably a good take when you look at Osimhen. He'll probably be counted on to bang 25 if he came here. I still see Jackson as being the number one option at striker right now, and I think that the squad, the team have shown, like the club have shown, that they're going to back him for the next little bit, because even the players that we're looking at right now aren't guaranteed bona fide number ones that are going to bench him. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a striker regardless, right? And like that's kind of what you want. You want guys to come in to challenge him for the position, not necessarily bench him because of his salary. You know what I mean? Where he's just like, you buy a striker for like Osimhen for 100 million or whatever, and then you're forced to play him week after week after week after week because you can't lose on that investment. Right? Like whereas you already seen over the course of a season, you've seen Jackson improve his game. You see him, show pretty good numbers for his debut season in the Premier League for a young striker too.
Very good numbers. Very good numbers.
So
none of us knew him. None of us. How much did he pay? 35 million euros or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Nobody knew him, right? And so I don't think that you actually capture, you cash your chips in on somebody like that. That's basically just giving you one season when they're showing that he's he's on the come up. You give him another chance to improve on himself.
Yeah.
You definitely have to challenge him. Maybe that's what the Duran option is. Because like from what I'm reading on Duran, is that he backs himself, number one. I think Agbamla was talking on TalkSport Radio that the reason why he wants out is because he's making a fuss in training. Like he doesn't really a guy that like he's not fitting with the team because he's making a fuss in training about wanting to play and whatnot. And I want that. I want guys that are in the club and not just like I'm collecting a paycheck. I'm here and I want to be battling for my position, man. And you better be giving me the opportunity to do so, right?
I think that's why though we are not going for a Osimhen or even a Gallagher or probably even Alvarez. It's because the club are like, okay, we've got Jackson here. He probably outperformed what we thought he was going to do last season. We got a full. Let's get Nkuku fit. We didn't see him hardly next season, So everyone in the chat going, yeah, but what about the clutch goals? I think it's if we're going to get if we sign Elise, I feel like I said before, whoever the forward is, it's a surrounding with a support cast who can also grab goals as well. So those clutch moments are less and less and don't cost us a lot.
I'm not really worried about goals. Like we scored 70+ goals without Nkunku last year. You know what I mean? Yep. And then and then you think about the inclusion of maybe somebody like Olise. I'm not worried about goals. I'm worried about the variety of goals we can score. And for me, the reason why everyone is saying Nkunku's still a talisman for me. I know he hasn't played for Chelsea a lot, but he's still the guy I consider to be our talisman. So he gets a full preseason. He comes back into the side. We're going to see different levels into what the squad can do.
Yep.
He's quality. He's quality.
And the thing is, you're spot on. What I really like, what you mentioned earlier, Couch, is the competition. Yeah, because Jackson last season knew that regardless of what he does, he's going to start up top because if he was injured, Broja just wasn't good enough. I was calling him cheese string knees last season because his knees were looking like jelly, bro. Every time he's touching the ball, he's bouncing off. Every time he's jumping up in the air, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's just getting out jumped. And that was a guy I could clearly see had zero confidence, bro. And he even spoke about it. He said, "Yo, the manager basically didn't trust me." Remember he had the opportunity to play up top when Jackson went AFCON and he stuck Palmer up top. He made Palmer play as the 9 because Broja just wasn't good enough. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So big up Will, yeah, because he says here, do you brothers think Jackson is a bit too similar to Duran, AJ? Do you think that and just to add to that question as well, do you think, in your opinion, the fact that Duran's there to offer him a little bit of competition, do you think that will improve his finishing?
I think first of all, it's a good question. That's how the fan base should be thinking. But there are definitely differences. Duran's game is a little bit more contact based, where he's going to be closer to his defender. He just his build in general, he's bigger than Jackson. He's better in the air than Jackson. So, he already offers a couple things that Jackson doesn't offer. So it's a good question, but there is a difference, versus, Alvarez, is a little bit more like Jackson, who's looking for, the spaces and picking up the ball and dribbling. I'm not sure, what's Duran's dribbling like? I don't, because Jackson is a big dribbler, and I don't see Duran as being a big dribbler. You understand?
He's not, man. He's not really a big dribbler. This is the thing. What I want from Duran, I want Duran to be dropping deep into that hole, laying it off and spinning. Yeah, that's what I want him to be doing. I don't want him to be trying to run through guys on the ball and that, because his dribbling's not the worst, but I can see him just getting tackled because his touch is, you know what I mean? I just need him to quickly pop it off and play to your strengths. Get in the box and move defenders out of the way. Try get in there for the header, because Olise likes to just whip it in on his left foot. Palmer's going to slip it in behind. You're just going to get that finish there. Because
that's what we need.
Duran getting that opportunity, yeah. Big up. Let me bring up this comment as well, because this is a good comment here, yeah. Kaha, big yourself up. It says, these guys saw Jackson in the semi-final round the goalkeeper, and instead of shooting, he passed the ball to the centre-back, yeah. And these guys still want him as our number 1 for next season. None of us here have said we want him as our number 1 goal. Yeah? None of us have said that. But what we're saying is he offers, bringing in Duran offers that competition that we need, right? And if Duran's in that situation that Jackson was in, I don't see him missing, because I see Duran as being more of a natural striker, more of a natural finisher, and a little bit more comfortable in those situations. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, big yourself up for that comment, man. Sorry, Couch, you about to say something?
No, not at all. I was just laughing at the comment. You can do better. Certainly do better.
I did see a few clips. I did see a few clips of him on the wing. But boys, I'll be real. The guy was looking mad heavy, man. He was looking mad heavy on the wing, man. I'll be real.
He doesn't look like a winger. Yeah.
Nah, bro. You know how Jackson on the wing actually looks quite good. With Duran, I don't get that from him. That's what I'm saying about what's his name? Fofana. Fofana's actually better on the ball. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Big up Wesley, bro. Don, you waffle a whole lot. Where do you come up with this knowledge? Players improve, bro. What am I waffling about? I'm speaking about the research that I've done on Duran, and speaking about what I see from him at the minute. You are right. Players can improve. He's young, but as he is, he's got a lot of work to do. But what I do like from him is I feel that he'll be a lot more confident in front of goal to a Jackson. So I'm not waffling. I'm just speaking about what I see, bro, with my eyes. Do you know what I'm saying?
That waffle word is just overused.
That one is rinsed out, man. But listen, let's move on to the next person, because I saw some conflicting reports about Gallagher. Listen, for me, this is a guy that we obviously need to move on, man. And it's come out a few times already that it's come out a few times already that the owners obviously don't look at this guy as someone that's going to be a part of their plans in the future, because they don't think he's technical enough. And for me, he sticks out quite a bit. So what came out from the Guardian, I think it was Jacob Steinberg, he said about Chelsea could still offer. When you see that word could all the time, could still offer him a new contract. I was like, yeah, this is a whole lot of nothing really. And then Andrew, you actually sent it in the group chat. Let me bring it back up here. What you sent in here, because that's actually been basically debunked like straight away, bro. From the Times again.
Yeah.
So
and
working in the same office.
Steinberg, I take with a huge pinch of salt anything he says. So.
Oh yeah, of course, bro. He's had a howler of a week, ain't he? A howler of a few days. He's saying Tottenham are expected to push for Conor Gallagher. But AJ, what's your thoughts on this, man? Do you think that we should keep this guy or just move him on?
I mean, for the interest of the team, I think if we could move him on and reinvest the funds somewhere, then I think it makes sense, because, we have Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo, Santos. That's a good midfield four right there, and probably somebody else, you could get somebody in there. That's a good midfield, core. He kind of is the odd one out, and this doesn't take away from his performances from the season. He had a strong season. He did well. He did what he does very well, and we appreciate that. But like, for the evolution of the team, we could get 50 million from him. We got a good season out of him. And then we move on. That's how business goes sometimes. You got to take the emotion out of it. Now, if we keep him, is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be a mainstay in the team? Like, from the way that we're going to play, that's a no, So wouldn't it make sense to cash in for the cash, get the money, reinvest? He gets to go play somewhere. It works for all parties, but, I don't know what he wants to do. It seems like I don't know. Based on what comes out, it seems like he really wants to stay at Chelsea, Like, of course he does. He really wants to stay at Chelsea.
Of course he does.
I think with the last couple of days, we've had a lot of Santos PR about Chelsea not looking at him to sell him, not looking to even send him on loan. And they think that he can suit Marasca's style of play. Okay, no problem. We also think now with our PSR issues solved for this thing, we don't even have to sell in June. If you're going to sell him in July. It goes on next year's books. Do you know what I mean? Helps us even more. Do you know? I just think
contract will be gone. It will be done though.
Everyone's going. He could sit there. He could sit there. He could sit there for a year, do a signing on fee, and I'm thinking, I don't think he would do that. And also, I don't know where we've been trying to sell this guy since 2023 January. Okay, we've been trying to sell him since then. That's when this board's not shy of how they feel about him. Do you know what I mean? They'll offer him, even if they do offer him a contract, they'll just mainly improve it slightly. Do you know what I mean? I still don't think it'll hit what he wants. And even if they do try, it might be a 1 or 2 year extension, and they'll probably still try and sell him. I just don't know. Looking at reading how Maresca wants to play, I don't know how this guy fits into that style. For me, do you know what I mean? I'm struggling to go. He's not going to be a passer. I mean, pressing maybe, but you wouldn't start him every game for a presser. Would you? You might bring him on last 10 minutes or something if we're leading to snuff out the attack. I don't know. He's played well. He's put him in a shot window, but we're, with other teams now knowing that we don't have to sell, that puts us in a strong position as well. So if you want him, you'd have to pay for him.
Exactly. And like you rightly mentioned there, it's been mentioned that Andre Santos is staying at Chelsea next season. One source at Chelsea said stylistically, Santos is a perfect fit to play under Enzo Maresca. His ball retention is out of this world. He can play as a number 6 or number 8. So he is quite versatile as well. And that's something that, if you look at the profile of players we've been buying, they are quite versatile. Caicedo, versatile. You know what I'm saying? You've got Nkuku, versatile. Andre Santos, versatile. So many guys can play in various positions, and that's what Man City have had over the years. That's why I keep looking at Man City and how they built their team. And I think that these owners are looking at that and taking a leaf out of their book. You know what I mean? And taking a little bit out of Real Madrid's book in terms of bringing in the young talent like the Willian Estevals and the Kendrick Paez's and whatnot, you know? But for me, I think it's a good decision to keep Andre Santos because you guys know how I feel about the guy. You know, last summer, I thought he's one of our best performers in the in pre-season. When I saw that we were linked to him and we bought him, obviously you can only take clips with a pinch of salt. Before then, I didn't even have Wire Scout because I couldn't even watch full games back. And I was like, yo, this guy plays beyond his years, bro. I was mainly seeing him box crashing. But in pre-season, we played him as a 6. And the way he plays is quite similar to Lavia. You know, he gets the ball and he will just play what he sees. Plays it straight in between the lines. Off the ball, very good at reading the game as well. You know, he finds himself in good areas where if we get the ball in the transition, we're good to go to quickly attack them as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Where he wins it back. And again, in terms of the box crashing, I think this is someone that can get a few goals if he's played as an 8 as well. You know, that's something that he was doing coming through in Brazil and coming through for the Brazilian national team as well. You know, and he actually played. Remember last summer he played for Brazil next to Casemiro couch. We watched that game quite late. You know, he's highly rated, very highly rated. You know, and he did really well when he went to.
I think a lot of that was just down to trying to get him his score, like his accreditation, so he can come to Europe, right? That they played because that's makes sense, right? You want to see your young talents have the opportunity to play in Europe, but they don't have the the credits, I guess, to play abroad. Yeah. You have to acquire a certain amount of like international credits, so that makes sense. And yeah, we all know he's a talented individual. I still think that like he's well suited to come back into the side right now, without question. Without question, there's no doubt in my mind that he can come in and give us minutes right now. It's just whether or not he's going to be able to see as many minutes as you want him to see right now, because there's still going to be a glut of players in that position that might stifle his own development, right? Like Lavia hasn't played in a year, you know, essentially. You know, you're going to have to see Caicedo. You know, you're going to have to see Enzo play lots of minutes because, again, you have to justify what you paid to bring them in. So they're going to get 60, 70% of the games, you know, and then what's left over, you know, you may get a 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here and whatnot. And is that enough for somebody to develop? It's the same thing I was saying last year. You know, it's not so much that I didn't think he could play for us. I didn't think he was ready to play in the 6, but I would rather him go on loan, eat up a multitude of minutes, come back to us ready to challenge for those positions, you know. But you know, like it looks like right now, and it's probably the right decision again for the same reasons as it was last year. Looks like Leslie's going to go on loan right now. And to be honest, when you look at Leslie right now, the way we used him as a 6, I don't see a spot for him right now. You know, he's not. He doesn't really show me. He doesn't really give me that 8 quality, right? Like where we're going to need him to be thrusting forward, getting into the.
He's too heavy-footed for the 8. Way too heavy-footed for the 8, bro.
I mean, again, like I think that he's quite nice on the ball and whatnot, but I don't know if he has the mentality of an 8. You know, I mean, he doesn't think the game that way for me. So, you know, I'm seeing him as being a guy that where do you play him now? Like if we're looking for like players in this Maresca system, it's going to be very hard for him to find minutes. You know, so it's probably best for him to go on loan at this time and give, you know, Santos a chance to fight for the minutes within the squad right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do this summer based on the personnel we have, because truly I think that we spent a good year and a half building a team that could play one of a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, you know, something of that sort. Lots of midfielders, lots of guys that can, like, you know, thrust forward, some guys that can play the 10, some guys that can play the 8, some guys that play the 6. And now we're kind of going a completely different direction where, you know, there's only really maybe 2 roles for those number 8s, you know, maybe 2 roles. And that's only if you consider, you know, Palmer as a winger or, you know, some sort of like a shallow striker. There's not a lot of roles in this current setup. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, you know, the preseason.
Yeah, and look, these are some of the comments that you get as well. Big yourself up, HM, because I always see you in the chat, yeah? He says, you need more of a sample size before hyping up these kids, Don. 2 bad games and you will turn on them. This is where people actually don't listen. Like, where am I hyping him up by saying that I think he's a good player? I'm not saying he's going to come in here, he's going to be better than De Bruyne, he's going to be better. That's what my definition of hyping up is, yeah? I'm telling you what I've seen from this guy with my eyes. Just go watch the clips And go watch the games back when he was at Strasbourg. He literally transformed their midfield. Go watch the clips if you care that much in pre-season to see what he was doing. He was playing really well. You know, I'm not hyping him up to be anything. I think he's got high potential, and I think he'll do well in the system. Like, I don't understand what you mean by hyping up. And then Wesley as well, he says here, Don, please keep a level head, bro. The comparisons to Madrid and City are wild. I think the team is in a better state, but you lot are not world beaters. Bro, again, you need to listen to what I'm saying. You need to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're like Madrid or like Man City. I said we're taking a leaf out of their book. Because if you look at our team, what we're trying to do, we're trying to have 2 players for literally every single position. That's what Man City did over the years. They had 2 teams. We used to talk about it all the time. Same thing as Madrid at the minute. They're going for the likes of, they went for the likes of Vinicius, Rodrigo. They brought these guys out of Brazil. You know, the other day it came out that Todd Bowley's got a good relationship with Perez, and he kind of idolizes him. And that's the sort of model that they're following. They're looking to buy young talent from South America, very similar to what Real Madrid did. We're nowhere near Real Madrid right now, but we're taking a few things out of their book, you know. I think
though that, not to speak on Don's behalf, I think even Don would say he's not advocating for Andre Santos to start week in, week out, just to be part of the squad. Do you know what I mean? Like that, or give him a chance and sort of come on in some games. He knows that Enzo, at the moment, Caicedo are ahead of the pecking order at the moment. I mean, on paper, we're just saying. You know, we linked Santos to Gallagher because we believe that, or what we're reading is that Santos looks to be able to adapt to whatever type of football Maresca wants to play than Gallagher does. Do you know what I mean? Gallagher's got a good fund in some good aspects, good fundamentals in something, but asking to be like a midfielder in a passing team, I don't think he can. I think it would overwhelm his brain. I really do.
100%. And big up Luca. He's got a question here. Question for you. Would you take Jadon Sancho? Personally, I would. Quality player, just at the wrong club. We saying AJ?
We got enough right wingers. That's the problem. We got enough right wingers. Especially if we get Elise. What do you want? Madueke, Elise, Palmer. You know, we still got what happened to Gabriel, or what's his name? Angelo or something like that. Yeah.
He started off really well, but then he got injured. He got injured halfway through the season.
So it's like
he seems like one for the permanent loan. I'm not gonna lie. Angelo Broja, it's like he's permanent loan.
He's good,
career loan.
Yeah,
I think it's one that will
There's no way, like, you know how I feel about Kendrick Hires, and like I feel like once he gets into this team, it's gonna be very hard to get him out of this team, right?
I've got William Estabao as well, possibly as well next year. So it's like, listen, I'm not doing anything to help Manchester United out while Elise is not signed. Yeah, that's not. I'm not doing anything like that. Yeah, they need to sell before they can even approach Elise. Apparently, do you know what I mean? So it's like not a chance. And like AJ said, I'd see him more on the left than the right, but I just think even he'd have to drop his wages significantly. Like he's on $350 a week. True. So he'd have to drop him. And we balked at us. Apparently that was Osman's demands for $350, and we balked at that. So we're not going to pay that for for Sancho when we've got like loads of other options. Do you know what I mean? So nah.
Would you guys be down for buying another striker after buying Duran?
It depends on the striker.
That has to be a specific striker.
I mean, and also it depends on who's going out the door too, right? Because you know, we still have Lukaku, we still have Broja on the books. You know what I mean? And like, you're not going for any, like, even if you wanted to, you can't bring in another top name striker until you get those two names off the books. You know what I mean? Like that's wages right there, bro. Like big time.
Luca came back again. AJ says, "You say you don't want another right winger, but you could take Elise. You would take Elise even. I don't think we need to prioritize a winger. We need another striker and a CB. And to be fair, we haven't really spoken about Elise today because we've spoken about him quite a lot on the channel. Nothing's really happened. There's no movement apart from it's just like they're kind of talking amongst the clubs, and the Athletic kind of spoke about the clubs having to go to Palace first this time around because obviously we know what happened last time. They nearly snitched on us for going to Elise first. But AJ, what's your response to Luca, bro? He
didn't hear me. I said if we get Elise, that's how I started my response. Then how are we gonna fit this Sancho? You know, and plus, now you compare Olise and Sancho. You know, in this moment, you know, we taking Olise. You know, it's no competition. So, and like I said, Sancho does well in Germany. You know, there's no if I'm Sancho, I'm trying to stay at Dortmund or I'm going somewhere else in Germany. Like, does he want to even come back to England? You know, think about it. So,
and to this point, like, we don't need Olise. Does Real Madrid need Mbappe? Like, I don't get that. Like, he gives us something completely different to what we have right now. Of course, we don't need him, but do you want a player like that in your club? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Steel, sharp, and steel.
I don't know why we limit ourselves.
Steel, sharp, and steel. You put a guy like Olise in the side, the squad improves immensely. Like, I don't understand that at all.
Yes, and it's like I keep saying, Olise's right foot. Olise's right foot is better than Mudryk and Madueke combined, and he's left-footed. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't understand this limitation of like, oh no, we don't need. Why don't we need him? Why don't we need top quality players? What? Because
Andrew, they want us.
Why do we limit ourselves?
Let me know in the chat, Luca, if you're a Chelsea fan. But I've noticed a lot of rivals are doing this about that right wing position, when it comes to Olise, because they don't want us to upgrade, bro. That's what it is. Because they're scared of what we're potentially building at the minute. That's what it is. Because they know. Right. Listen, most of these rivals are taking Olise in a heartbeat. What it is, they don't want him at Chelsea because they know how good he is, right? They laugh at us all season about the players that we've got, but then they don't want us to upgrade on these players. So people are just talking out of two mouths at the minute. You know what I'm saying? But again, on the Olise news, I'm pretty quiet.
Here's the thing: when you talk to rivals, Don, when you talk to rivals, ask them would they okay then if Madueke and Mudryk are so good, do you want them in your squads? Listen to the answers. They'll either struggle or say no. So why should we then not want an upgrade then on them? Do you know what I mean? Madueke, I've lost faith in Mudryk. I don't think he'll ever come good. Madueke shows some signs, but this was the whole point of having a squad. If Olise comes in, Madueke is a good option off the bench. I don't understand this. Or tell Madueke you want to get in the team, learn how to get over this irrational whatever you hear of work it or playing on the right wing, left footed, and actually go on your natural side. Maybe that's the only way you'll earn a place in the starting lineup. Adapt your game. Do you know what I mean? But the whole thing is like, why do we have to? Oh no, we can't have too many good players. Pissed off. Sorry. So do you know what I mean? I hate this thing. It's like so City had Grealish. City had one time Sane, Mahrez, Sterling, stuff like that. Do you think Man City fans are going? Man, I don't think we need Mahrez.
That point of view.
I keep telling people, bruv, if you are winning trophies and you're still getting enough game time or you're starting certain games, you are not going to be complaining. Because number one, you're adding trophies to your catalogue, to your CV. You're getting money as well. These Man City players are rich, bro, yeah? These lot probably made the most out of everyone in the league. They are rich, bro, filthy rich, because they keep winning everything. They get paid, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, end of the day, like I said, yeah, it is where it is. People say things like this. Like, just call me Dave. Please tell me what is the point of Olise when we are getting Payers and Willian next year? Should we not rather get a proper left back and a goalkeeper? Bro, I think Chelsea will still be looking at those areas. I think left back is an area that it came out the other day that we're definitely looking to sign a new left back. I think Chilwell's going to be a goner, in all honesty. It's difficult for me to see a Chilwell in Maresca's system because he just does not fit what he wants to do. If he wants someone inverted on the left-hand side, if the right back goes into right centre back, Chilwell can't do that. He can't invert. It's going to be Cucurella doing that. You know what I mean? So we need to go bring in a left back. Goalkeeper is going to be sticky because we've got Sanchez at the minute, and we've got Kepa we still need to get rid of, and then we've got Petrovic. And at the minute, it kind of looks like Sanchez is potentially going to stay. We're going to have to see how Maresca gets on with him in pre-season. But Couch, what's your take on these sort of questions where people are worrying about Payers and Willian, man? Just to wrap it up, bro.
I mean, steel sharpens steel, man. I've never heard a team say we have too much talent. Like, I've never heard a team say that. Like, that's never been the case. Like, if you're bringing in Olise, it's going to raise the level. And of course, yes, then Payers and Esteval and Noni have to know they have to reach those levels to get into the team. Steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? If they can't work at this level, then we sell them on and gain a profit from there. I'm not worried about talent coming into the squad. I'm worried about just like filling the squad spots with players that are just kind of like okay. I want to see talent on the bench and talent in the 11 all times. You know,
Yeah.
these kids you're talking about like Esteval and Paez, who I think is quite special. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's got something about him. But these are young kids.
They're going to need time to settle.
They need someone.
tons of time.
They're gonna be on loan.
Bro, we can't be putting all that pressure on them to carry the team, bro. Like, I know they look really talented. From what I'm seeing of Paez, this is a guy that for me is gonna, in terms of the levels he can reach, unbelievable levels, Esteval, I really like what I'm seeing from him as well. But again, we can't be putting too much pressure on these guys coming into the country. Bro. You know, they probably don't even speak the best English. It's a new league. They're still growing, by the way. These guys are going to be 18. They're not going to be fully grown men.
They're going to go on loan. They're going to go on loan.
I don't think they're going to loan Paez.
Yeah. That's been confirmed already.
Maybe not Paez.
That's been confirmed already. But what it is, I don't want too much pressure being put on them, because what's going to happen is when they lose that confidence and things aren't going like to plan, people are going to start slandering them, and now they're going to start slandering the owners. Or why didn't you go get Elise at the time? Or why didn't you go get this person? That's what's going to happen. I can see it already. So right now, go bring people that are ready-made. Let Olise and that learn from them. Same way Vinicius had to learn from the likes of, whoever they had at the time. Who was the wingers at the the time at Real Madrid when Vinicius first came there? Ronaldo was still there. Bale would have been back. These sort of guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they need to learn from these lot, and slowly come into the team. Hopefully by then we're playing Champions League. Hopefully by then we're
an excellent point.
Say that again, bro.
That's an excellent point, though. That's an excellent point, though, you made. Every Chelsea fan has criticised how young the squad is, and we don't have enough players that have done anything. That these guys, we basically put them in the deep end to sink or swim. And you're talking, and now we're talking about Paez and Esteval, but then we are trying to get experienced players no matter the age, because Elise is only 22, like that. But they'll be coming into hopefully a better environment, a more forged and together group of players who've got more experience, and that will help. That would help them. Do you know what I mean? Because I listen. I don't know what they're going to do in their first 6 months, whether they'll play a lot, but we shouldn't thrust them in like, the Pirates are playing every game. You know what I mean? It shouldn't, I'd let them settle. And it's good that we're actually bringing players over more and more. Hopefully we do it with the William kid as well. You know what I mean? Like, he's over for he's the other one that we're doing.
Yeah, my worry is only, again, the international loan. Like, how many players, like, just overall, not even with the Paez and like the Willian and Estevals and whatnot, like, we don't have a lot of like slots left for loaners, like for international loan. I think the number goes down to 6 now.
Probably why Santos is going to stay as well.
Exactly.
Well, that's definitely why he's going to stay. But then you also have to think about your homegrown quota, right? So he takes up a spot for a player who probably would have classified as a homegrown player. We're looking to shift out Gallagher. We're looking to shift out Chaloba. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to consider here, like when we're bringing in players. Say again?
Does Tosin count as a homegrown player?
Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does.
Right, okay. Yeah.
To be homegrown, I think you have to have played 3 years, I think, before you turn 18 or something like that, 17
21.
or something in England. 21 or something. Yeah, you have to play at least 3 years to be considered homegrown. I need to read up on it. He's definitely homegrown.
The international loans, which is why we're not looking for a loan deal for Lukaku. We want to sell it, so he doesn't take up one of those international.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Robert said it here as well. I think he said it. He said we're selling Ziyech, Lukaku, etc. So yeah, these guys.
Ziyech is gone. Yeah, so
Ziyech is gone already. Yeah, Ziyech is gone already. So there's going to be a few slots there. But just to run off, what do you guys think about Datro Fofana potentially being flipped? AJ, what do you think about that, bro?
I mean, just another, money-making scheme from Chelsea. But I really like the player, the limited time we saw of him in Chelsea colors. I think he had something about him. He understood the game. He was strong on the ball. He had a decent shot. He created opportunities for himself. He had a lot about him. So I kind of like that type of striker, but it is what it is, man. It's business.
Lima signed, yeah. What's going on? Confirmed by Fabrizio. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look, people.
Chelsea Dodgers tweeted out as well. They just retweeted it. It's,
You tweeted that. Let me see that.
8.4 million. No,
Fabrizio.
Chelsea Dodgers got it from some.
Fabrizio kind of like winked at it on his own.
Let me see. I'll put it in the GNA.
Chelsea. Okay, let me bring this up. Couch. This is someone that you done a little bit of research on. What do you think of this guy? Because I still need to watch a little bit more. I think it's going straight to Strasbourg.
Of course he is.
And then Chelsea might get him in the future.
Yeah. Again, limited knowledge on him, but guy just looks like a Brazilian to me. Like what you consider to be a Brazilian footballer. Like he has a lot of the attributes, right? You know, as a right back and whatnot. So I don't know. Like young age, I think that this is going to be a good move for him. Like at the right time, going to a place like Strasbourg. You know, teaming up with a few of the other Brazilians out there. He's got pace. He's got power. You know, he's not the trickiest on the ball, but he certainly has the right sort of mentality in terms of like trying to get after it and whatnot. Like that tireless effort that he has. I'm all for it, man. Like again, I don't think, and I'm not normally this guy to keep it don't get it twisted. I'm not normally a guy that just backs the scouts, but you know, every time that I have skepticism about what the choices they've made, more often than not, they've.
Let me tell you something, people. Couch is a skeptical brother. Yeah, Couch is one skeptical brother, bruv. And the fact that he's
the only names I fully backed for Chelsea that are in the squad right now is Nkunku, Lavia, and potentially Olise if he comes in. Those are the only three names that
all we know is this: Couch doesn't want to be. Couch doesn't want to be caught out with a super chat that says, "Hey, do you rate this player empty cabinet?" You know what I mean? Like,
I have no problem. Hey, I will rate him. I'll tell him what I think, though. I'll tell him what I think. I have no problem being wrong. Absolutely none.
Facts. But listen, people, we've still got 193 people in the house. It's been a good show, man. It's been a good show. And listen,
would that count as an international line? Given his age,
that again, bro.
Would that count as an international line? Would that count?
No, he's going straight to Strasbourg. He's going straight to Strasbourg.
Given his age.
He's going straight to Strasbourg, and then we're potentially gonna, and then we'll potentially bring it in. Robert makes a good point as well. This is what I was saying in the group chat the other day. It's extra assurance for Reece James beyond gusto. That's true. And then HM as well. He says, imagine Lima.
He's not coming into the side anytime soon, anyways. Like this is straight up.
Bro, 17, bro. Let him learn his trade. Let him learn. You know. Imagine Lima right-hand side for Strasbourg. Yeah, imagine Lima and Angelo right-hand side for Strasbourg next season. Movies. HM, bro. If you know about Lima, DM me and educate me, my bro. I'm gonna do some. You get me some research tonight, but yeah, from what I'm hearing, he looks really good, man. But listen, boys, love for jumping on as always. Couch, let them know where they can find you, my bro. Appreciate your time, man.
Couch Critic right here on YouTube. You know what it is.
Yeah, link in the description, my people. AJ, let them know where they can find you, my bro. Love for coming on.
Yes, sir. Big up. Just catch me on TikTok, you know, NYC Chelsea Blues. Catch me once in a while.
They're loving it, bro. They're loving you in the comments last week and today as well. They're saying that you should make a YouTube, bro. People, let us know if you want AJ to make a YouTube, man. Because listen, AJ's a real
I'm a professional guest, bro. I'm a professional guest.
Let us know, man. But Andrew, listen, they know where to find Winter Surfer, but let them know anyway that they can find you, my bro.
Yeah, just follow me there. I'll tweet out what I'm because I'll never call it X. I'll tweet out what I'm doing on that one. Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm always like, I'm either asked straight away on first reserve. Oh, this guy dropped out. Let's not say that. That's fine. I don't care. But yeah, just follow me. You know where I usually am. But more importantly, subscribe to this channel, like the video, get the algorithm going. You know what I mean? Let's do this. There'll be more transfer news. There'll be more transfer news and stuff. So.
110%. And I'm actually going to do a video with a Villa fan as well. I'm going to find one. I've got one in mind. Most likely Josh. He jumps on Never Foul quite a lot as well. And we're going to speak about Duran in a lot more detail because he will know a lot more than us lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But listen, people, as always, subscribe to the channel. Smash up the likes. Road to 2K. We're coming soon, man. Up the Chels. Love.